Raiders fans, welcome back to a brand new episode of the J All Day NFL Show. In today's episode, we're doing our final mock draft of the 2025 offseason, and I got a trade for you guys in the first round, so make sure you stick around for that. Let's get into it. All right, Raiders fans, we're only 30 subscribers away from 15,000, so if you want more Raiders content, more NFL content, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. If you take a look at your screen right here, here's the trade, guys. We're swapping 6, moving back to 11, and what we're doing is we're picking up a second round pick at 43 overall. Pretty even trade in my opinion. We're sliding back 5 spots, but we're picking up that second round pick. I think that's a great idea because the second round and third round, especially the beginning of the third round and second round, they're going to be very, very full of talent for the Raiders, who need some serious help at positions like cornerback, D-line, running back, wide receiver. So let's get into this draft. Okay, here we are. We're picking at 11 now. Unfortunately, Ashton Jeanty went at 7, but there's going to be plenty of running backs, especially because we have picks 37, 43, and 68. Definitely some opportunity to draft some running backs there. So I'm taking a look at the board right now, and I think I'm going to take the best cornerback on the board. You know, ESPN came out with an article yesterday saying that the biggest need on the roster is cornerback. And with Will Johnson on the board, I agree. I think it's a great pick for them. If you take a look at who's lined up at cornerback for them, even if you go into base, I mean, we've got Stokes and Bennett. Not necessarily top of the line cornerbacks in my opinion. I think we could upgrade at that position. So I'm going to go Will Johnson in the first round. He was hurt last year, but the 2 years prior, he was one of the best overall corners in the entire college football. 30 passer rating against with 4 interceptions in 2023. Extremely impressive. I love Will Johnson. I think that's a great pick at 11 overall. Now, we're up 37 overall, and we're also up at 43 overall. So, now, who is on the board here for us at 37 that can make some sense on this roster? I do love Derek Harmon. Him being available definitely makes some sense. If we take a look at this roster, we could use some defensive line help, right? We got Crosby here. You know, this kind of defense mixes around. It's 3-4, it's 4-2-5. It kind of goes all over the place, right? So adding another defensive tackle definitely makes some sense. Taking a look at what ESPN says as well, I think the offensive line could be in play as well, but I think defensive line, especially with a guy like Derek Harmon available for us, could definitely make some sense in this kind of hybrid defense that the Raiders run. Landon Jackson is available as well, but for me, you know, bringing in a guard could make some sense too. If we take a look, Alex Kappa is in play for the right guard spot. Man, I might just do that. Bringing in Tyler Booker at right guard, or Donovan Jackson. Both of them are on the board, but I think I like the versatility of Donovan Jackson more. So, guys, I'm going to do Donovan Jackson, the tackle / guard. But remember, he played guard at his time in Ohio State and only moved to tackle when Simmons got hurt. So he's a guard. Donovan Jackson goes at 37 overall. Unfortunately, Derek Harmon went off the board for us there, which definitely stinks. But Darius Alexander is on the board. He's got these long arms, nearly 35 inches. He is one of my favorite defensive linemen in this entire draft class. He is a little bit older, but I don't think that really matters in my opinion. I think he's extremely talented. I love Darius Alexander. Definitely could be a pick for us. Or one of the running backs. Cam Skattebo is on the board. Dylan Sampson is still on the board. Trevion Henderson. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slow this down. This could be a potential trade up spot. I want to get Judkins or Henderson. And I do like Cam Skattebo too. I think he's a really talented player. Doesn't have that outside zone kind of speed that you want out of a running back, but he's a great route runner, great pass catcher, very talented player for sure. But I want to go D-line here. Darius Alexander is not going to be there. So I want to see how this running back situation plays out for us because we're drafting again at 68 overall. But right now I'm going to go Darius Alexander. Kind of see where these running backs go, right? Still no running back, no running back, no running back, no running back. All right, so Cam Skattebo went. Nobody else went. Dylan Sampson went. But the Ohio State guys are still on the board here, right? So that makes some sense. Both of them are on the board. Let's see where it goes. All right, we got another wide receiver, another tight end. We're drafting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 selections. Two of our favorite guys on the board. I don't think the Eagles go running back. Trevion Henderson just went. Let's see. Hopefully the Bears don't go Judkins here. They didn't. Judkins is still on the board, guys. So I'm drafting Quinshon Judkins, the running back from Ohio State. Incredible back. He had a great year, 5.5 yards per carry, over 1,000 yards, and that's splitting time with Trevion Henderson, right? Really, really talented guy. 14 touchdowns. The dude's a beast. I love that selection there at 68 overall. So we could speed this back up. Let's take a look at our picks so far. We went Will Johnson with our first pick. Then we went Donovan Jackson, who's going to play guard for us. Then we went Darius Alexander, the interior defensive lineman with those long arms. He's an excellent player. Then we went Quinshon Judkins in the third round, 68 overall. We're really tackling all the needs that we have here. Okay, now in the fourth round, 108 overall, drafting one of these quarterbacks is definitely, on my mind a little bit. But will they be there in the fifth, possibly this? We could maybe use one of these 6th-round picks on a guy like Kyle McCord I really like, or Tyler Shough. That could be a really interesting spot to add a quarterback in this draft class. Okay, so now if we take a look who's available on the board right here, wide receiver is definitely an interesting spot for us. I honestly it wouldn't be out of the realm of possibility for them to draft 2 cornerbacks. Honest to God. Noel Williams is available, one of my favorite players in this draft class at the cornerback spot. I think he's exceptionally talented. We got our corner, we got our D lineman, we got our running back now. Wide receiver, adding a wide receiver in the 4th round could make some sense. Isaiah Bond is on the board. Bring in a guy who could take the top off this defense, right? 5'11", 180, but he's got pretty good speed, pretty good overall player, was really good in 2023, definitely regressed a little bit here in 2024 when Matthew Golden kind of took over, right? Torrey Horton's on the board. He's another, I like that drop rate under 4%, 6'3", 185, definitely a bigger bodied wide receiver. He's got a lot of nuance to his game, pretty solid player. He's been mocked to the Packers, the Lions, and the Vikings. Great route runner for his size, strong hands through contact. He kind of gives me everything I want out of a wide receiver. I do like Pat Bryant too, but I just think Torrey Horton is a way better player. He was hurt this year, so you got to look at the previous 2 years. Look how good he was in 2023, guys. Almost 1,200 yards, 8 touchdowns. He was exceptional, man. I think this is a steal because he was hurt at this point in the draft. I love this selection at 108 overall. So, unfortunately, it doesn't go too fast now that we messed with it. But in that trade, guys, we were able to get an additional 2nd-round pick from San Francisco and got Darius Alexander. I love that. Now, in the 5th round, this is where I think adding some offensive line depth, some linebacker depth could be really interesting, like Jack Kaiser's on the board. Adding another edge defender, outside linebacker type, could definitely be in play as well. Logan Brown, the tackle from Kansas, doesn't have a ton of experience, right? But the length is great. 6'6", 315. He's a really talented guy. I do like Jack Kaiser too, the off-ball linebacker. He could really add some depth to this roster. He was the captain of the Notre Dame defense. I think it makes a lot of sense when you take a look at the way that their linebacker room is kind of structured right now. They do have Elandon Roberts, good player, but he's 31. And, linebackers, he's getting towards the end of his rope here. So they don't got a lot of youth there that's like worth having. Devin White has been cut, bounced around the league a little bit, just hasn't been productive considering he was the number 5 overall pick. He's been pretty awful, actually. He's a huge bust. So for me, I'm bringing in Jack Kaiser here. I need depth at that linebacker room desperately. But, man, quarterback could be interesting. Gabriel's still on the board. Kyle McCord's still on the board. So Dylan Gabriel, I like him because he's very, very accurate guy, 82% adjusted completion percentage. Jack Kaiser, he's 148 ranked. We're at 143 now. We're picking again at 180. 40 picks later, I'm going to go Jack Kaiser here and then get one of these quarterbacks in the 6th round. I think that's probably the best way to go, guys. And the way this draft is going for us, we're really upgrading the defense. We got some power players like Judkins and Torrey Horton to add to our offense. And then here's some of the quarterbacks. I'm grabbing a quarterback here. We got Quinn Ewers from Texas. Solid guy. Definitely regressed a little bit this season. Kind of up and down guy. Dillon Gabriel. I mean, the deep grade. I think he's a very underrated player, in my opinion. Passer rating at 115. Smaller guy, 6 foot, 200 pounds. You know, that's the knock on him, is he's a little bit shorter of a guy. You know, but I think he's the best quarterback left on the board. I'm going to go Dillon Gabriel in the 6th round. Take a flyer on a guy like that. You know, they have Geno Smith for the next couple years, guys, so I don't think it's a huge concern with the quarterback position right now. So now we have 2 6th round picks and a 7th round pick. I just want to bring some depth to this team, and I'm going to first do that with Jack Nelson, the tackle from Wisconsin. 6'7", over 300 pounds. Adding depth to the offensive line is never a bad idea. You know, the tackle situation, the left tackle spot looks pretty solid with Colton Miller right now, former 1st round pick. And then DJ Glaze, 3rd round pick from last year. You know, he could definitely come in, Jack Nelson, and compete for that right tackle spot and be a swing tackle at both positions. Now, in the 6th round, 215 overall. Tufana could be really interesting. Kind of a nose tackle, 6'3", 308 pounds. Big boy there. Jake Majors, the center. Another guy I really, really like. Super talented guy. Upton Stout, the safety. He's one of my favorite later round picks. Back-to-back over 80 grade season. Excellent run defender. Can kind of be an in-the-box kind of guy because he's a really good tackler, but he didn't even play that much as a in-the-box kind of safety, right? Played in the slot a little bit, and that's great versatility because they need slot help as well. So he could play safety, he could play deep, he could play all over the formation, and that's a really valuable thing to have this late in the draft. So I'm bringing in safety Upton Stout from Southwestern Kentucky. Now, in the 7th round, guys, we are up at 222 overall. Man, Jake Major still being on the board is really interesting. But I do like Jackson Powers Johnson. I was a big fan of him last year. He was okay. You know, we'll have to see what their thoughts on a guy like him. But here we are, 222 overall. I'm just taking a look at the board. Ollie Gordon, the halfback. Cam Hormsley, interior defensive lineman. I love this pick. He's excellent against the run. We need more D-line help. 6'4", 306. Can play on the edge of a 3-4 scheme. He could play anywhere if they want a 4 front. He could play any of those defensive like tackle spots when you're doing like the 4-2-5 kind of lineup. I like Cam Hormsley here in the 7th round. All right, Raiders fans, here it is, man. I'm really excited about this draft. I think you should be too. We got a number 1 corner on the outside in Will Johnson. Excellent player, A- grade. I love the Donovan Jackson pick because I don't think Kappa is that good. And Donovan Jackson can compete right away to take over that spot. Then we got back-to-back A grades with Darius Alexander and Quinshawn Judkins. We got 2 B grades with Kaiser and Horton. Really good players. I think we need an off-ball linebacker. A+ grade for Dillon Gabriel. I picked 180 overall. Really, really good draft. We got an A- grade. Added some interior defensive line help with Cam Hormsley and Darius Alexander to help out Max Crosby. We added a number 1 outside corner. We added a running back. We added, I think Torrey Horton can be a solid number 2 wide receiver in this offense. Added some offensive line depth with Jack Nelson. Added Dillon Gabriel as a developmental quarterback. Very accurate guy. I'm excited to see what he can do at the NFL level. Definitely a little smaller guy, 6 foot, 200 pounds, but there have been guys like Russell Wilson that have had success with that body type. So I really like this draft. We did trade back from 6 to 11 to pick up that additional 2nd round pick, and we got Darius Alexander, an A-graded guy. I love that. All right, Raiders fans, this is my final mock draft of the 2025 offseason. Thank you so much. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Peace.